Hello.
Hi, Rebecca, it's Beatrice.
Hi, Beatrice. It's Rebecca. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Sun is shining, that's always good.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. Because it was grey, wasn't it, for a few days? And
Mm,
that was just, no, we don't need
no.
that. Yes, it's much nicer today. That's very
Mm.
good.
What about you? How
Yes.
are you?
I'm very happy because I got a new plant yesterday. I'm
Ooh.
plant crazy at the moment.
Ooh.
She's very lovely. She's very delicate, frondy. She's a Kentia palm.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's supposed to help purify the air.
That's amazing.
I know, isn't it? That's very clever. And she's really lovely. She's just settling in at the moment. She only came yesterday and she's just relaxing with another plant at the
Oh,
moment to
okay.
acclimatise.
Has she
And
got a name?
she hasn't yet because she's only just arrived. I
Oh,
don't want
okay.
to rush her. She will tell me when the time comes.
Yeah.
Um, and I got a lovely blush pink pot to put her in.
That sounds very nice.
Well, I'm very particular about the pot as well as the plants, as you can imagine.
Yes.
So I like these ones which are like plant, like they're like flower pots, but they're ceramic. And they're very beautiful. So I'm very happy with that. So I'm just expanding the plant universe.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Again, I still haven't. I did have a plant for a while, but it made us both sneeze rather madly.
Oh no!
So unfortunately, I had to set it free.
Oh, good Lord!
Yeah. So that yeah. I should take your advice. I might need to ask you what, as a starter plant, what.
A starter plant. Yes, we can talk. We can discuss that. I will have a think about what would be the most Beatrice-y plant.
I made a purchase as well this week.
Oh, what did you buy?
I finally bought the beautiful book trolley from Present and Correct.
Oh, how gorgeous!
Yeah, it was a bit of a long drawn out saga because it took me about 3 months or more to make up my mind to buy it, and then you couldn't buy it anymore. But you could say that you were interested in it. So then when they sent the email that it had come back, I then spent another 10 days thinking about it. But I've done it. I've done it. And it's a bit like a pre-order. It won't be here until June. But that's really good because I can think about what I'm going to put on it.
Yes, you can practice.
Yeah,
so you can think about it in different spaces.
Yeah, and there are 3 shelves, so I could put books according to a different particular subject on each shelf, or
colour of cover.
Yeah, I could do that. So there's quite a lot to explore in the next month.
Well, as you know, I love my stationery trolley. It is my favourite piece of furniture. I engage with it every day and I look at it all the time.
Yeah.
Present and Correct are just so lovely.
Yeah, no, they were really great. And I had a question and it was, I sent it quite late in the evening and it replied instantly. Not that you should work all the hours.
No, we want the Present and Correct stuff to get to sleep as well.
They need to relax as well. But yeah, I was very impressed.
They're marvellous. And I love their Instagram account.
Oh, I'm not even sure I follow them. Oh my God.
Beatrice, you're a disgrace.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Them.
Yeah, I shall.
No, they do very lovely posts with yes. Well, I'm not going to spoil it. I will have a look. I'm not going to tell you. You have to do the work.
Yeah, okay. That's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. And then there was just such sad news, wasn't there, at the weekend about Albaz?
Yeah, that was really awful. I just couldn't. It was just
so sad. And he's so talented and such a lovely man as well.
Yes, and I also always loved how he dressed. I thought it was just I really like that. Have you seen when he launched AZ Factory? They did this film. It's quite long. It's about 25 minutes long.
No, I haven't seen it. I must watch it.
I just watched it only yesterday, but it's really funny because it's meant to be like a fashion TV show, but it's quite naff, but on purpose. And it has him in it a lot, so maybe a third of it is him just talking about why it's about three different types. They're not really collections. And what is quite funny, he says, and it won't be a capsule because capsule makes me think of antibiotics, which it's just in this sort of instance also. But anyway, so he talks quite a bit and about the three different things he's sort of created. And what I also really liked, there was quite a bit of footage of the factories, because a lot of it is about new technology in terms of fabrics. So there were a lot of the people in the factories were saying what they were working on. I thought that was really nice.
That's very nice.
And then there's sort of models who are weather girls and reporters, and that's quite
funny.
fun. It's really fun.
Because I think it's such a lovely idea, and I loved the way it's very Claire McCartney, so I love that. Not the style of the clothes, but the concept. It goes back to my beloved 30s sportswear. I love the way it's like sort of jumpsuity kind of things and like leggings and tops that you could wear to go for a run, but then you can layer it with a big gorgeous bubble duchesse satin skirt, and suddenly it's an evening dress. It's like a much more imaginative and exciting. I don't want to say capsule because I don't want to.
I know. I thought when I then he says that at the beginning about the capsule, and I later on thought, this looks a little bit like a capsule.
It does look a bit like that. But I like the way, and I like the way there's like pajamas and robes, but then those can also be switched into the outlet, because isn't there a sort of sportier collection, a more dressy collection, and then the sort of not evening wear, night wear. But they all intersect, so you could wear everything with everything else.
It seemed like the three parts were a bit separate. So the first one is this sort of stretchy fabric, which is sort of got simple dresses with a zip at the back, and with this sort of chain that it helps you put the zip up, because he said it was always so difficult for women because they often have a zip at the back and it's really hard to make up. And then the second one was more the sort of sporty with sort of pointy sneakers as well. And then the third one was what you just described, which looked so nice, and the colours were just so amazing.
The colours are gorgeous. I mean, I think he's always been really, really good with colour.
Yeah.
Which not all designers are. And I really, it's like you can really tell that he started off with Geoffrey Bean. It's like he really refined his skills. And I mean, Geoffrey Bean was so amazing and so underrated. And I think what's great about him, because I do think, we've discussed this before, there are people who frankly just copy Geoffrey Bean because he's not so well known in the universe. But I feel like Albert Albaz, it's like he understood what Geoffrey Bean was doing, and he understood the refinement of ideas of kind of thinking through how a woman would actually experience wearing these clothes, as well as thinking about the technical and the design flourishes that you want to put into a piece of work, into a garment. And I feel like he took that spirit forward. And it's so amazing that Pierre Berger and Yves Saint Laurent wanted him as the inheritor of the house. And you can see how he's in that spirit of someone who is immersed in and so interested in what you can do with fashion, but then also is kind of in love with the way you can transform a woman, or a woman can feel transformed. It's not just kind of thinking, I'm a great designer and I can do these amazing things, and then women can fit into it, into what I've done.
No, totally. I heard him talk in another thing about shoulder pads, and that he didn't want women to look sort of super powerful but strong. And
yes, that's a really good difference.
And that he felt it would help them having these shoulder pads. But he didn't just use shoulder pads. He sort of sewed, seams on them and stuff like that, and try to do something different with them, that they weren't just shoulder pads you put in. They were sort of more integral to the garment. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, really good. And I mean, his designs for Lanvin was so gorgeous, and what Lanvin did is very bad. I'm not even really sure quite what they thought they were doing, but it was bad.
Yeah.
And I think you can see by the kind of women, you know, who wore his work, you can see how well he spoke to them. You know, how he engaged with women who enjoy fashion but are also their own people. I don't think I said that very well, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're, you know, that they have their own identity and sense of self and sense of how they want to look in clothes.
And the clothes, I mean, maybe I'm wrong there, but they were beautiful and made, of course, but not showy. You know, it's sort of this. And like you say again, I remember seeing something at Dover Street Market, and I can't even recall the actual garment that well. It was a dress or a skirt, but again, like you say, the color was so beautiful. It was a dark blue, but it wasn't just navy. You know, it was just a beautiful, just special blue.
Yes, that's a really good way of putting it. A special blue, like special. It is, and I think you're right. It's like the kind of clothes that you just, the more you. I'm sure I never wore his clothes, but I'm sure the more you wore them, but also the more you saw them, or you looked at them, the deeper your appreciation would be. It's not just something that's showy and all for the spectator and you're done. They all look like they'd be really, like they'd feel really great to wear, like you'd feel really good in them. Yeah, no, it's very sad.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and on a happier note, though, I went to Bonham's this week to see the preview of the auction of fine jewellery, which was rather amazing.
Wow!
I know, it was amazing because, I mean, I was trying to remember when I last handled actual objects, you know, like dress and I can't even remember. Like, I can't remember my last dress store in visit. I can't remember when it would have been or which. It was probably with you, Beatrice. But I don't know when it was because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
And we'd hoped that I could go, because I love Emily Barber, who's the head of Jewellery. She's the most inspiring, wonderful woman. And I was really sorry not to see her, because I think maybe we were going to. I was going in to see her just before the lockdown.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
In autumn. And so finally getting to see her was wonderful, because as I say, you always go away just feeling joyful from being with her. But also, just handling things was so amazing. It was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually touching stuff.
And is there a theme to the auction, or?
No, it was just amazing jewellery. I mean,
that's
that wasn't
the theme.
What it was called by Bonham.
That's
what
the theme.
I would call it. It's amazing. The category is amazing jewellery extravaganza. And the thing that I keep thinking, I can't really have tried this on because it's too amazing. There was this incredible Bulgari emerald ring, like a huge 10.04 carat emerald, so big, and the most intense, wonderful, clear green, and cut so when you looked in it, you felt like you were seeing infinity. You know, when they're cut so you feel like you're looking deeper and deeper and deeper.
Wow.
Then with a diamond either side, which was amazing. I had it on my hand, Beatrice.
Wow.
It was, and Emily told me it's a super gem.
A super gem. I'm just on their Instagram. Yeah, it's the first picture.
Super gem.
Oh yeah, it does look like a super gem.
Oh my God, amazing. And it felt amazing on my hand, because that was something we kept saying, is you forget the experience of trying on all these things that, you know, some are heavier than others, some seem to fit around your finger or your wrist in a particular way. So that was amazing, and it sold for £598,750.
Oh God! Imagine I But I also, I mean, I know you were there and it's secure and everything, but I just cannot imagine wearing something like that just out, it's just, I just cannot imagine that. But yeah,
Well,
that looks gorgeous.
I would guess that whoever bought it is not going to the kind of places we're going to.
Yeah, they probably don't use the tube, and
they're probably going from
or the
their
bus.
driver and their car to a place and then driven and then a place and then driven. They're not.
Not that there's any issue with wearing jewelry in the tube or on the bus. I'm not saying that. But it's just more. No. It's more about me. I have lost rings, so.
Well, yeah. I also think, no. It's not in our realm.
No, not quite.
But it's amazing to try them on.
Yes.
And I never look at any of the prices before I go. I always just want to see them and think about them as amazing things. So
do you know from when that is? Because I should know this, because decorative arts is part a little bit.
It was dated
of my remit.
Hang on, I'm just looking.
Yeah, I don't think it says.
It doesn't give a date. But that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was truly gorgeous and amazing. That was wonderful. And the thing I most would have liked to own in my own real life, which I think I could have worn anywhere, was there was a 1973 Cartier TV bracelet that's like this sort of rounded oblong shape, like the shape of a TV screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's lovely and chunky and tubular and gold and gorgeous, and I tried that on, and I could very much see myself wearing that.
And what else?
What else? Well, I mean, there were so many things. Obviously, there were the Art Deco diamond bracelets that I always want whenever we go. Something I was very interested in, there was a John Brogden, who's this very important London, like Victorian London jeweller, and he did a lot of, they call it kind of archaeological or
we have them at the museum.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do. We actually have quite a good jewelry. We have a good jewelry collection.
You have an amazing collection. And there was this wonderful, I think from about 1870, this wonderful necklace that the chain was this sort of really delicate, tiny links, but then grouped together, so it's like a rope. And then it's got an ancient Assyrian seal is the pendant, and it's going horizontally. So there's like the gold chain and then this horizontal seal with gold at either end to hold it in place. But the seal itself moves, like you can turn it around to see. And then either side of the end of it are gold drops. So really, like, the design itself is really beautiful and striking, but the way it's designed as like a frame for this piece of history is really interesting. And I like, apparently that there was a real interest in Assyrian jewellery at this period and interest in the Assyrian galleries at the British Museum. And it's just fascinating to see it. I mean, obviously you kind of think, well, how did they get the Assyrian seal? Which we do not know. But it's very beautifully done, and I think it's really interesting the way, the meaning it would have had in Assyria, but then the way it's being used in Victorian Britain. And apparently I read in the catalogue that there was, it was really a British thing to be interested in Assyrian artworks in this way and to appropriate them into contemporary jewellery, and you get a bit later in France and America, but it was a British thing. And I was looking at his work online as well, because there's a big album of jewellery designs from his jewellers at the V&A.
Okay.
So I was really interested looking at that.
What is he called again?
John Brogden.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was super interesting.
I would be interested to know who the market is for that kind of jewellery. Is it something that goes to a museum?
Now?
Yeah. The ring I can see, but This, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder who would people wear it, or do they buy it for their collection?
I don't know. I mean,
mm.
I went there with Olivia. You remember my lovely? She was my MA student last year, and she's
Oh,
working
yes.
at a fine jewelry startup now. She's really fantastic, and she was asking about the market for different things. And Emily kept saying it's really hard with jewelry to predict who will buy things, because it might be someone who's a collector. It might be someone who, not so much this, but with particular gemstones, that they might be wanting the gemstone more than the jewelry piece.
Oh, okay.
It might be, but a lot of it just comes down to personal taste, that some people think, I want to wear that, or I want that in my collection, that apparently it's really difficult with jewelry to kind of break down and say this type of person is buying this type of thing.
Yeah.
Although there's definitely, she was talking as well, Emily was talking about, how there's been in the last few years the rise of, first of all, coloured diamonds and then coloured stones more generally, and how that's been a very definite trend that, in the early 20th century, for example, if you had a yellow diamond, that wasn't that great, because you wanted a clear white one. But no, that was really fascinating.
Yeah.
And because, I find hair jewelry spooky.
I didn't actually know that.
I do find it spooky. I mean, I find it interesting, but I find it spooky on a personal level. And they had several pieces from the Duchess of Somerset, who was the lady in waiting to Queen Victoria, which were really beautiful. There were two lovely lockets with sort of pale, sort of Tiffany blue coloured enamel, and then diamonds, or one had diamonds for the nations of the United Kingdom, so a thistle, a rose, a shamrock, what have I missed out, a daffodil. That was really beautiful, and that had and then inside it had rock crystal with Queen Victoria's hair.
Oh.
Just like a few strands, not like one of, some of the morning jewellery has really elaborate patterns with the hair and whatnot. This is just a few, like a curl of it. And then also a rock crystal, a big pendant that's very beautiful with a diamond S and a coronet above. That apparently, like the way they do it is they have the rock crystal, which is this sort of oval dome, and then the hair, and then glass behind.
Oh, okay.
So you can just see hair inside, so it looks like it's inside the crystal. That one spooked me, bitches. That's got Queen Victoria's. And then there's a beautiful blue enamel locket with gold, with a crown on it. And that's got Charles X's hair in it.
Oh, really?
And apparently, this was a thing, like with Victoria, she was her lady in waiting. And it's like a sign of your favour that you gave someone your hair. I don't want to bring that back.
No, I find her hair, I mean, this is not hair jewelry, that's a different thing, like you said. But I find it fascinating, but again, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Not into that. But I think they're amazing pieces of jewellery. And I was really interested to see them, because I tend to just think hair jewellery is about mourning. But this isn't about that. It's about favour and passing on.
When you said hair jewellery, I thought you meant hair ornaments at first. And I thought, why is there a problem with hair ornaments?
No, I would like that. And I also like that each one of these, there's a lovely little handwritten note of what it is.
Yeah, they were really,
jewelry, which I really like.
They were really into that. We have a lot of royal things at the museum, and they often come with handwritten notes.
I really like that.
That is quite a nice thing. Maybe that is something we should bring back. Yeah, we could put some handwritten notes.
Write some little handwritten notes
with our things.
Or something.
Yeah, or even our favourite socks, possibly.
Oh my goodness, yes. Bitches, I feel this is a whole exhibition.
Yeah.
And it won't be like normal museum labels. We'll just write what we want people to know about that sock. Oh, that would be so much fun. But let me tell you, because I think you might know this lady. There were also several rather amazingly amazing things from the Countess of Ross, who was...
Is that Lord Snowdon's mother? No.
Yes.
Oh, she is. Okay. Mm.
And that was very interesting because you got such a sense of her from the pieces. Because, for example, there was a rather gorgeous and dramatic mid-19th century cameo. This is a bracelet, so the centre, it's like cameo, enamel, pearl and diamond, so it's got it all. And it's black and white with gold, and it's the centre cameo is a lion fawning over Eros, so love conquers all is the message for us here. And it's super three-dimensional, and then black and diamond for the very chunky bracelet. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, that's a bit much, isn't it? That's a bit too many things going on. And then I tried it on and I thought, well, no, actually that's fabulous. And I'd happily wear that myself.
Ah, interesting.
And what was interesting is she seems to have worn that a lot, and that was really, it was really nice. There was that one, and then one that Olivia rather loved, which was a gold bangle, and then it had diamond and I think maybe pearl as well, but it had an emerald bead at the top, which you could fiddle with and it would spin. And and she wore that a lot, and apparently she wore them together a lot, which was a lot, but in quite a good and fabulous way. I'm thinking with your cashmere sweater, your white shirt, yes.
Yeah.
And we were both saying how both of us are real fidgets with our jewellery, and that would be very satisfying to be able to spin this emerald.
I've never heard of anything like that. I think that's amazing.
We were very, very taken with that, and thinking we would enjoy that very much indeed. And then there was also an amazing necklace and matching bracelet that was this beautiful pinky red spinel and diamond that was very sort of delicate. And Emily was saying about how Countess of Ross, I mean, she was really into fashion as well, and that she would put on her clothes. She would decide her outfit, and then she and her husband would discuss which jewellery. And then chose it, and you could really, just got such a sense of her from these pieces, because they're things she inherited. The spinel and diamond necklace and bracelet from the 19th century as well, and like these amazing Tajikistan spinels that are beautiful pinky red. But you got a sense of someone who really loved and enjoyed her jewellery and wore it a lot. And her understanding the relationship between clothes and jewellery, and that some pieces you wear all the time and some you think about in relation to a particular dress. And she wore Charles James, Victor Stiebel, Molyneux, Schiaparelli. She knew her stuff, haute couture wise, and clearly really enjoyed the combination she could come up with. So I thought that was rather wonderful. And I think Brighton Museum has quite a lot of her.
Yeah, they had an exhibition at some point.
Yes, because she's from the Messel family.
Yeah.
And they've got several generations of Messel family clothes. And I think she was the one who... She's like the generation that saw this was important and that you must keep things. So that was fascinating. And then one last one I want to tell you about, just because I put it on and I enjoyed it, was now I hope I'm saying this right, chrysoberyl, so like pale green stones, plaque ring. And I thought it was an 18th century Portuguese piece. And Emily brought that out with a couple of other things, because they put them, they put them on those
trays.
And I thought it was a brooch, because it was a big oval with just loads and loads of like pave pale green stones. And I thought, oh, that's a nice brooch. It's a ring.
Wow. 18th century, you say?
Yes. And it's really big. It's like, over your knuckle size.
Wow.
Big. but very pleasing. I mean, honestly though, it's one of those things that I think if I wore it personally, I would not be good company because I'd just be staring at it.
It's same with the green emerald. I mean, everyone would be staring at it.
I know. And the 18th century, she said it was typical sort of Portuguese with this kind of shield-like pave. And the gems were foiled. So you get really interesting colour depth. So that was very nice. So it was just all gorgeous.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
And I learned so much. And just, I think particularly having been starved of handling and looking at things and talking to someone who's an amazing expert, I think it also made Olivia and I think more about the experience of wearing jewellery and how central that is to it. And also the rituals of choosing what you're going to wear and putting it on, that can be a real pleasure of putting your necklace on each morning or whatever.
And I guess, sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah, we partly come full circle because I'm always also thinking, you have to store it in some way, and that can be really nice.
Well, maybe present and correct, that can be another thing.
A sideline.
A lovely trolley.
Yeah. A jewellery trolley.
A jewellery trolley.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I think this is where we need to end. This is too much.
I know. Yeah. I think our brains are going to explode at the thought of jewellery trolleys. Yeah. Okay, well, marvellous as ever, Beatrice.
Yeah. Thank you for this.
Speak to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Bye.